I think it's over there. Oh, there they are right there. Right in that middle there. They're blending so well, it's like... Oh, there he goes. There he goes. There he goes. There he goes. Oh, it came off. Man, I popped him hard too. Oh, that was my boners. What did you do? Are you not sharp? Oh, you're not very sharp. You're okay sharp, but not very sharp. Dang it. I must have hit him in a hard spot. Man, I'm just seeing is a little dark spot that's moving around. I'm not even seeing the fish. See one way on that edge over there. Oh, that spooked him. That scared him. Oh, they're there. Come on. Couple bonefish there. Eat it, someone. Someone. Oh, I think he's got it. I think he's got it. I think they've got it. They're all right there. They're circling it. Do you have it? There we go. Bonefish on. Gotcha. I was trying to make a video about safety. But maybe these bonefish need to watch a video about bonefish, bonefish. Oh, there's another one over there. Greedy Steve needs to come into action. Come on, baby. More bonefish to come. No, stay out of that channel. There's big sharks in there. This is a safety video bonefish for your enjoyment. Maybe this is number 8 or number 9. Always keep your head on a swivel because you're on the flats. So are these guys. Oh, we barely got him skin hooked. There we go. There we go. Safety first. Actually, bonefish first. All about the bait, weighted circle hook, little chunk of shrimp. Bam! And his buddies are waiting. And our usual, that's what you're looking for. Just a dark little streak there. So all I'm seeing is just a little bit of dark spot against that sand. Gotcha! Hey everybody, how we doing today? Beautiful day here in the Florida Keys. Looky, looky, looky. It is gorgeous. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to enjoy this beautiful day and do it safely while on the solo skiff. So that's the plan. Now here is my 2018 solo skiff. And I'm using a Suzuki 6 horsepower 4-stroke outboard motor. Now I've got quite a few videos about working on the functionality of the Solo Skiff, and I'm pretty much done there. I've got one more addition, which is basically a GPS fish finder I want to add to it. But otherwise, I've got all the mods done from basically bow to stern is exactly how I want it. Very happy about it. Second, I worked on reliability, and that was strictly that guy there, which was unreliable, but I got it figured out, and now it is thumbs up reliable, 9.5 stars out of 10. So very happy about that. But now the third and almost should be the most important thing is we're going to be working on safety. So I'm going to go over the safety initiatives that I've put on the Solo Skiff, as well as things you can think about if you've got a Solo Skiff or you're getting one, because getting out on the water is great, but going 15-20 miles out and being able to come back and going home is pretty important. So let's talk about safety. All right, whenever you're talking safety and on the water, your number one should always be not that. When it comes to the Solo Skiff, your number one should be this guy. Boom. What this is this is your automatic pull tab turn off, emergency shut off, panic button shut off, basically, with the lanyard attached to it. And all that is if you pull this, that clip comes off and it shuts the motor off. Okay, that is your number one safety feature that you should think about when it comes to a Solo Skiff. Now, when we're talking the Solo Skiff, it's a little bit different. That emergency pull tab is probably one of the most important things. The reason being is when you first start using this Solo Skiff, and I'm sure it happens even later on when you get excited and you're rushing or you're not thinking, you're not paying attention, it'll also happen. But the Solo Skiff is very risky for the reason that as I sit here, I am high centered, okay? You have this basically seat, it's above your side rails, it's higher, you're sitting on it. Your weight is the most weight that is actually on the kayak, and you're sitting above the stern and the bow line. Okay, that means you're high centered, so you're not very stable because you're high centered is basically the issue. Okay, now the first time I realized how sketchy this was the first time, not when I started it. I started the motor, everything's good. It was the first time I shifted that lever into drive and this thing said kunk and just kind of just boom and just jetted forward. Okay, and it was like kind of whoa. I was kind of ready because I have an outboard on my kayak. It's not a 6 horsepower, it's a 2.5. My kayak is a lot different in that I sit below the water line, because I would basically be sitting on the floor in the kayak and my rails are above it and the water is actually above where I sit, so no chance of me falling out of that. But on here being high centered, you kick that in gear, the added horsepower, the lightweight of the Solo Skiff, it makes it clunk out. And what happens is that as you look around, I've got things here, this, I've got stuff all around me, but when you're talking first starting out, most likely you're not going to have those things. It is just plain empty. There's nothing on here except the motor, maybe the gas tank, and you're sitting on here. There's nothing else here to grab, to hold on to lie back on, to kind of grab. Okay, so you're high centered, you put that in gear, it clunks, and you're immediately off balance. And instantaneously I knew, like, whoa, that is freaking sketchy. Okay, and still, although I'm used to being on my kayak is much more stable than this Solo Skiff because I have an outrigger that doubles the width, and I sit lower into the water line, so it's a lot more stable in that regards. So this thing is still considerably tipsy. So once you get your weight momentum going a certain way, that tipsy just multiplies it and it gets very sketchy. So you gotta be very careful about it. And when you clunk it in gear, that means it's in gear and it's going with or without you, so you have to be very careful about that. So instantaneously I knew that that was sketchy business, and since that moment, every time I start it, my procedure is that even with this tank here, I get squared up with the outboard, so I'm straight front to back. So if it jets forward, I'm going this way. I'm not going sideways. I'm just staying in line with it. Very important there. However, there's going to be times that a new person, or if you're not ready, or you're in a rush, you see some fish, you want to get over there real quick, and you fire it up. You don't wait for it to idle down. You throw it in gear, and you're not paying attention. It goes forward. You're off balance. That multiplies it, and you're over. And this thing just says, "Goodbye, Steve. Nice knowing ya," as it just starts going wherever it wants to go. And depending where you're at, you may not be on the flats. You could be out on the reef, out in the offshore, way in the backcountry, and it's bye-bye, and you are alone in the water. Right? Very, very, very sketchy. Now, number two, in confirmation how sketchy this is that Tom Mitzlaff, he's actually the designer and the original owner of Solo Skiff. He gave me a call. I talked to him every once in a while, but he found out I had gotten a Solo Skiff, so he's calling me about it. I kid you not, I'm alone. Said, "Hey Tom, what's going on?" The first 5 minutes from after hello, for a complete 5 minutes, we're not talking fishing, we're not talking about the Solo Skiff, how I like it and what I'm gonna rig it, and if I have any questions about doing anything. Now, it was from hello to 5 minutes was a lecture about you need to put on the emergency safety lanyard and you need to wear it. 5 minutes, all right? This is the guy that designed the Solo Skiff, and I guarantee it's for those specific same reasons. He had an incident that he explained that happened to him. It was that same situation, getting in a rush, not paying attention, and he just luckily just had that lanyard in grasp and pulled it, and otherwise his thing would have been gone and he would have been out just in blue water, alone, nobody around, and that would have been it. So he just kind of was just a straight on lecture. You gotta have it. These are the reasons why, why. Okay, so when the designer of this tells you this is the most important safety thing that you should be considering when you have a Solo Skiff, you probably should believe it. Now, the emergency lanyards that you get with these original clips is basically, it's a coiled red plastic coil. It's fairly short because really your hand on your tiller handle really is pretty close to it, so it doesn't need to be super long. But for me, because I am usually standing, I have this extension on an extension tiller handle, or I'm all the way out front. I have a longer section that I modified, so it's on the clip there, just pulls off real easy. But I have a longer length that I can clip onto my pants pocket. I've got little bucket, little clip-ons that I can clip it to. The other thing I could do when I'm not doing anything, I'm not really running, I might be just idling around and whatnot, I could put it on this clip, and this gives me a loop that even though I'm not wearing it, so I'm just going and I'm just blah blah blah, I'm just hanging, I go over for whatever reason, I have a huge target that I could grab and it's going to pop that clip off. So I'm not even needing to actually yank on it, look for it. I just know there's a big ribbon around here that I just have to reach for it, and I'm just automatically going to pull that clip out and it's going to shut that motor off. So when you're like off balance and you're just like flailing, you really don't have time to go look back, stretch out, grab that little coil there. So that's kind of what this will do. It gives me a better chance at whacking that when I'm not physically wearing it. And then flip it back on and ready to go. Now, number two, got the life jacket. Yeah, you gotta have it, gotta wear it, should wear it. I don't wear it, primarily because this thing I use specifically in the flats, the backcountry. It's pretty much all shallow water. Even like right here, it's like 3-4 foot maybe. So I don't really put a lot of effort into that. I fall overboard, I stand up. If the kayak or the Solo Skiff takes off, I just walk back. So I don't really sweat it too much. I'm always around islands. If I'm on the Atlantic side, US 1 is usually really close. I'm not taking it out to the reef or blue water, so I don't really worry about it there. If I do take it out to the reef, then yeah, I'll wear the life jacket. When you're in over your head water around you, and that's all that's around you, then yeah, then I do it, especially when I'm on the run, and especially if I'm standing up sight fishing, looking for stuff while I'm standing up, because there's a lot better chance I'm going to fall overboard. In the backcountry, there's islands all over. It's majority of it is skinny flats, so I don't worry about it too much. I do carry 4 life jackets. I got my master life jacket here, and then I've got 3 other ones that I've got on inside the bow area, 2 of them there and 1 inside here. Just extra flotation devices, especially if this happened to sink or if I get stranded and I need to float. I've got 4 life jackets I could put on or utilize to float around. Number 3 is my emergency kit. This is something, I have a small box that I carry my emergency lights, a whistle, my paperwork. I have like a screwdriver, I have a number 10 wrench, and in my dry box that I have my wallet and phone in, I have a crescent wrench, a small crescent wrench that can take off the spark plugs. But for this one here, I decided that I wanted to do a full-on safety / toolbox, dry box that I'll keep on this solo skiff permanently, always be on here. And that'll help me for any emergency stuff. Number 1, I cut myself, hurt myself. 2, for the legal requirements, it'll have my my registration, whistles, flashing device. It's got the strobe light. I've got a 3x3 emergency SOS flag, mirror, stuff like that. And then third, well, I have on this one I have my built-in lights. So I've got my my bow lights, and then my stern light will plug into there. I keep that in the bow, but that just plugs in, and I've got the battery in here, so that stays on here already, so I don't need lights on that. And yeah, I think that's about it, but I'll go through with you now. I actually just filmed it in some shallow area, but I had to come over here to some deeper water, but you can check that out now. All right, let's take a look at my safety gear. Open this up. Got my tackle in front. And I got my safety box right here. Boom. Fits perfectly in that little slot, even though that's got that overhang, wedges in there. And that keeps the cover on. Perfect. All right, let's take a look at my safety box. Bam. Put it up there. This is my little medical pack, basically rated the $1.50 store, not $1.25. I got one of their little basic first aid kits. It just has standard band-aids, different sizes, some wipes. Next to that, I got a roll of waterproof tape. Basically, that is better than like a band-aid, because band-aids and anything that has gauze on it is just going to absorb the salt water while you're out here, so it's better just to have the tape. I've got some antibacterial wipes because cleanliness is super important, instead of using your nasty old sleeves with all the fishing slime on it. Then I've got some Tylenol just in case you get like a headache or need some painkillers, so that's that. I want to get this stuff wet. This is in no order, but safety stuff. I got a big 3-foot by 3-foot safety flag, help flag, SOS flag is basically what that is. This is a little ACR strobe light, so for at nighttime, go overboard, turn this on and it just blinks, blink, blink, blink. That's that. Do I have any other safety stuff while I'm at it? Well, legally wise, I've got the my registration for the solo skiff. I've got my fishing license and a copy of my driver's license. So I just keep that in there just in case I forget my wallet, forget my phone. I've got that. Then the rest of it, oh, I got my whistle, a spare whistle. I have a couple of whistles on board actually. I think the rest is just tool stuff. Yeah, these are my, rest of it is my basic toolkit. With this, I could almost rebuild this motor with the exception of a 12-point, either number 8 or number 10 socket, deep socket, and that's to get the head bolts out, which I'm not going to carry in here because I doubt that I'll be doing a head removal on the water. But outside of that, all I need is this little portable ratchet, 1/4-inch ratchet set. It's got all the different sockets. I could pretty much eliminate all but I think 3 of them. Small one for the carburetor, a number 10, and then one of the larger ones for the bolt that holds the throttle handle. And otherwise I could disassemble pretty much the rest of the motor with that. Then I've got a, man, I don't want to put this in the water, it's rust. Got a little pocket screwdriver that has a flip around, regular and Phillips all in one. I did have the 2 of these. I forgot to take this out since I don't need it anymore, but I had 1 and 1, but that's for taking the screws, any screws out. I do have a spare prop, and with the prop you have to be able to take the nut off, so I've got a number 19, bam. I also have a crescent wrench that I could use to take off that nut, as well as you need to have it for the spark plug. I do have a spark plug socket, but I can also just reach in with just the crescent wrench and unloosen the spark plug. The 6 horsepower, it's deep in there, but I could still do it. It's kind of a hassle. But my 2.5 horsepower, it's easily accessible, so no big deal there. New spark plug. This is a spare 10, spare 5/16. I don't know why that's in there. A little bit of fuel line, that's for blowing into the inlet for my fuel in case the needle and seat stick. Also, I have this. This is a syringe to do the same thing. If my needle and seat is stuck, I could take the fuel line that goes into the carburetor off, fill this with fuel from my fuel tank, and inject it into the port with enough pressure that it blows that sticking needle out, and then that frees it up. Also, if I want to and I can't start it, I could take some fuel out, squirt this into the spark plug hole, and then get it to fire up for a few seconds and hopefully kickstart whatever the problem is and get it idling and running after that. So I've got that. Same thing, the starting fluid is for the same reason. If I just want to get it to just fire up to hopefully kickstart it to run again, I've got starter fluid. I have different sizes as well as a wire for cleaning out the pee hole for the water for coming out of the motor in case it gets gunk in here. If I run this thing into shallow water, it'll suck up mud and it plugs up easily. Then I could use these to unplug it, and then the zip ties can be used as zip ties as well. Extra cotter pins for the prop, scissors to just have just an emergency case. I have all my normal stuff, but they get really crappy real easy, so I have a good set in case I emergency need it. But I think that's pretty much it. I'll be doing a video specifically about this thing. This thing goes into all 3 of my kayaks. It's my lifesaver just for those reasons, but I'll be doing a video about how to use it and how it really helps you. So there you go, that's what's in my box. That's what gives me about an extra 15% confidence level to go out far distances and not worry about getting stuck, because I have all the tools to be able to fix pretty much any issue that I have. The only thing I will be adding is a pull cord, and I might have to do one more wrench if I... No, I won't. I'll be able to do it with the socket. I'll just have to add some pull cord in here, so in case the pull cord on the outboard dies. I've got them for my 2.5, I just don't have it for the 6. So that's one thing that's missing. But otherwise, that's in my little safety box. And it basically Since this is a $1.50 store, cheap plastic container, lid doesn't really stay on very well, but it fits perfectly because it wedges in there, and that forces the lid on there. It won't slide around, and it's just about perfect. So holds everything that I need. So that way I've got these free for just my tackle, and it stays permanently in the boat. Nice. Number 4, that would be about this guy. Have had some troubles with it that I had to work through. Got him worked out. Now totally reliable, very happy about it. Like I said, 9.5 on a 10 stars. Very confidence level, super high on it now that I got the issues worked out. But the key thing is the knowledge to fix something if this has a problem. And it doesn't have to be this motor, but your motor, and being knowledgeable about doing on the water repairs to get it to work, because nothing is sketchier than not having your motor run and being 1 mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles from the launch or even land, or being close to land but wind pushing you out to open water or current pushing you to open water, and you can't get your motor fixed, and you're trying and you don't know what to do, and you're just basically out in the water like just with nothing. Okay, that knowledge that I have is key in me having the ability to do all the things that I do. I actually bought this motor as dead in the water, tore it down to pulling the pistons out and redoing the rings, totally rebuilding a head, new valves, new everything, seating them, fasteners, everything, and reassembling it, the carburetors, everything, valve adjustments, pull cords, just total build up from inside out. So I got well versed on how to build this. Then I just went through the last couple of months of tracking down a problem that I was intermittently having with it, and carb problems. So I was taking the carb apart, and then the fuel system, and finally getting it worked out where I have no issues. I could strip this down to nothing while on the water and fix it. I know symptoms of what it does when it's having a problem, and solutions that fixes those symptoms when they pop up. So that's a huge deal, being very familiar with your mode of power. Number 5, know the limitations. Know your limitations and know the limitations of the solo skiff. My key thing that I tell people is, for you individually, only go out as far as you can swim back. All right, so if you can only swim a mile, well, there you go. That's your limit as how far you can get away from basically land or the launch. Okay, because if it gets to the point where something happens, swimming is your only way back. You can't be 1.25 miles away and only be able to swim a mile, because that equals losing the game. All right, so that's what I tell people about that. Me, I'm comfortable being out on the water in the nighttime. I'm fine getting stuck out on some island 5 miles out. I can swim back 20 miles and know that I'm not going to give up. So it's not such an issue for me. However, okay, I do know that this solo skiff sucks for paddling. What is that? What are those? Come back. Ooh, they're kind of skinny for sharks. Maybe cobia? Ah, dang it. This is one of the few channels on this side, so it's a narrow one, so a lot of things follow through from the current. But this solo skiff does not paddle well. It is not like they say, oh, it's kind of like a kayak on steroids. Nah, it's a fat pig. It's not hydrodynamic when you're trying to use a standard paddle to paddle it. I have this. It's a modified extended paddle slash paddleboard paddle slash push pole. And I could paddle decent with it. I mean, I paddle my kayak with it without a problem. But this thing is considerably heavier than a kayak. It pushes a lot of water because it is wide. It's a flat bottom, but still it's not very hydrodynamic. I could tell you, like in these conditions here, you look at it, it's like, oh, it's very nice, got a little breeze, that's great. If I was out on the reef and I had to get back, the motor died, and this same little breeze was blowing against me, I wouldn't be making it back. It's plain and simple. You can paddle in this stuff just like you could swim against the current, but you can't do it for long, and you can't do it for an extended amount of period of time, and you can't make distance because you have to continually go. As soon as you stop, the current or the wind pushes you back. So you can't stop, and it's just not possible. Most people don't have the ability to just keep going for 4 or 5 hours to get back, and this is just not going to do it. So that's why I hesitate to go blue water on this thing, because of that fact. Where I'll do it on my kayak, no problem, because I've got the motor, I've got the pedals. The pedals are super efficient. It's just about equivalent to walking. So if you can walk on land, just flat land, and you're able to just walk with a nice breeze for 5 miles, then you could paddle back in a Hobie style pedal kayak, because it's not a matter of sprinting back. We're not talking about that. We're talking just walking back. You're just easily going. If you can do that, then you could get back on a kayak. Where this thing, it's just not efficient enough. There's too much drag, and it catches too much wind and current to be able to do that. So that's why I very much limit myself on where I take this thing. And number 6, the functionality wasn't just for the fishing, it was also for the safety. Now, if you take a look at where I sit and the accessories I've added, bam, 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 they are all modified to somewhat represent fishing fixtures, but really they're also there for safety reasons. Now let's start with these rod holders. Now the placement of them are identical to where I have them for my kayak, and they are functional in regards to fishing, that I always want them in front of me because I use them as a stand for my rods when I'm standing up paddling and I'm sight fishing. I could put the rod there, it's right there to grab it, and then I can cast. Okay, also for when I'm trolling, the rods are out on both sides, and I could watch. If I get a bite, I can see instantly that something's hit it, and I don't have to worry about it getting broken off or getting pulled out and shot back if it was behind me. So that's the functionality part. The safety part of it is that it creates a box. Now I utilize these for stability as I'm going, as well as a safety issue. If I'm off balance, it provides a stop, something to grab onto. So as I was talking to you about in the beginning, when you first start utilizing these solo skiffs, none of this is up here. There is nothing to grab onto when you just get a bareback solo skiff. So you're going over, there's nothing to stop you. But by having these on both sides here, it boxes me in and keeps me from falling backwards. I can grab onto it quickly. If I'm going over the sides, I could just use it to kind of lean on. And it's not carrying my whole weight. It's just like anytime you're off balance, all you need is just a pinky's worth just to kind of push you back just a little bit to put you on the opposite side, and you're stable again. And that's kind of what it does. So as I'm going in choppy waters, it's getting off balance, I just do that and I'm super stable. Okay, I'm back to feet, butt, third. I'm triangulated, and that gives me super stability. Right side, left side, no problems there. While I'm sitting in the front, this is where I keep my push-pull paddle. It wedges on this side of the wheel there, and it's inside those straps, and it also keeps on the inside of this rod holder. And what that does is the same thing. I always have it touching my leg, and that gives me that tripod, a third branch that I'm just having pressure on. I'm not pushing on it, but it's keeping me stable there. And I know if I really go far over it, I can grab it, and then also this is going to hit that and stop. So that triangulates me there as well. Coming on this side, I've got my rod holders. Boom, they're all right here. Zero chance that I could fall in this direction because I've got these here, which is super stable. I can actually hold my weight with that. Got the outboard. I've got my tiller handle, whether it be my extension or just the shorty there. They're going to protect me from falling back this way for whatever reason. Also with these, as I'm standing on the platform, I'm holding on to these sometimes if I don't have them in my rod holders, because I'm paddling and I need it open. I have my rod stage ready to go over here, and if I get into some wavy conditions, I just grab one of the rods, and I'm not putting tons of weight. It's just giving me that third area to prop up. I could just do 2 fingers and it multiplies my stability by a lot. Okay, and that sits in there. And on this side, again, there's just a lot of stuff that I can grab onto that's going to keep me from just rolling over the side there. So boxing myself in here, as you can see, I am wedging here like a cockpit of a race car. So it's just kind of like a roll cage. So that's also something you could think about when you're designing your layout of your solo skiff. And some of those guys that, oh, bare base minimum is have nothing is the best. Well, maybe not when it comes to safety. And number 7, get experience on the water with your solo skiff as much as possible. Even though it's not fishing, get out there just so you're familiar with how it works, how it runs, the conditions that it can run, can't run, what it can do, what it can't do, issues that you're going to run into, adjustments that you need to make for your equipment that you're running, and in order to make it not only fishing functional but also safe. Another good thing to do with the time on the water is in the Keys we have more not good fishing weather conditions than we do have good condition fishing days. So pick those days when it's 15 to 20 knots, not a good to go out fishing. Leave your stuff at home, get the solo skiff, and go out and get in that weather and those rough conditions and find out what the solo skiff can do and how you have to adapt it in order to survive those conditions. Because it could be beautiful like this, but a storm like that can show up and you have to be able to survive for 30 minutes to an hour in some very uncomfortable conditions. And those 20-25 knots that you practice in will come in very handy. So as much experience as you can will help you to get your solo skiff so not only is it functional, but it's totally safe and reliable. And finally, know how to get in if you fall in. Because it will happen. So it'd be a good idea to know that you can get in if you need to. Alrighty, so those are my safety tips for the old solo skiff. Take it at heart. Nothing out here worth losing your life over. Always want to have another fishing day. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye. More bonefish. I think I'm gonna lose the light, so gotta call it. All right, we're out of here.